With the Advanced FM option, we can access two additional measurements for FM signals, beyond the carrier signal level. We can see this at the Measurements mode. If we maximize this window, you can get the signal level as well for the left, right, left plus right, left minus right subcarriers and for the demodulated MPX, as well as the deviation for the left, right, left plus right, left minus right and MPX carriers and for the RDS and stereo pilots. If you want to see all these carriers in the spectrum analyzer, we have created a special tool for that, which is called the FM MPX Spectrum. Here, what you'll see is the whole spectrum of the MPX containing some of these different subcarriers. For example, here on the left, the first component, the first subcarrier will be the left plus right subcarrier. The narrowband peak is the stereo pilot. After that, the left minus right subcarrier. Finally, these two peaks here together are the RDS subcarrier. The whole MPX takes up to 75 to 80 something kilohertz, depending whether other additional carriers are present or not. The FM histogram tool calculates what is the distribution of the MPX deviation by following the measuring guidelines of an ITU norm. There are two main ways of plotting the histogram, which can be selected from the tool preference menu. 50 milliseconds. This takes several MPX deviation measurement samples over a time period and keeps only the maximum value within that period. This is done over several time periods, and then those values are used to plot the graphs shown on the screen. All samples, in this case, all the measurement samples are taken and used to plot the two graphs. It is important to understand the difference between the hold all samples graph in yellow and the accumulated graph in green. The hold all samples graph tells us the percentage of samples with an MPX deviation equal to the selected value, while the accumulated graph tells us the percentage of samples with an MPX deviation value higher than the selected threshold. To choose a specific MPX deviation value or threshold, we must press directly on the screen. For example, let's say that we don't want our FM carrier to have an FM deviation higher than 75 kHz, because that's a very common threshold to use in FM. We can select the threshold by directly pressing with our finger over the corresponding deviation value over the graph. For that specific value, the ATLaS NG will show me how many of all these readings have an MPX deviation of exactly 75 kHz, and how many of them have an MPX deviation of 75 kHz or higher.